Hey guys, it's Matt from Pro Madden, here to talk about how to stop the run out of the 4-6 normal. So a few weeks ago, Deuce Close, YouTuber, went over a cover one defense, which will basically allow you to get kind of a green dog look. Basically, I'll link the video in the description, but basically the idea is a way to get to play really good run defense with basically dime personnel on the field. So here I'm in the 46 speed package, so so it's against this kind of stretch play, it's kind of hard to defend. So what I've figured out is what you can do, especially against this kind of formation, is most of the problems is on the strong side of the formation. So you just want to kind of use it, play cover 2 invert, and user that safety and just basically spread your linebackers out, and most importantly is to get those outside guys in the flat, get them as wide as possible, and if they run a dive, it's up to you to just kind of recognize that and crash the gap yourself. So here I'm basically base aligning. So base aligning actually is also very good against these compressed sets. It basically is kind of the corners, even though they're in deep zones, they're gonna kind of drop back and then they're gonna be in contained just like that. So if you noticed, I'm gonna do it again here. So they're not gonna be able to run to either side. I think I'm gonna show I'm trying to run to the weak side now. So as you can see, my outside corner is able to eat a block, and I'm able to kind of force him to cut it back. So so basically base aligning, especially if you're in zone defense, is a good way to kind of force them to kind of run the ball inside if you don't want to spread your linebackers out. The easiest thing against these compressed formations like I form close is to just basically base align. So here, this is more of how Deuce Close set up his cover 1 blitz defense. So if I was going to run this defense, I would actually kind of user the blitzing linebacker, or the person you put on the blitz, the blitzing safety. It's almost like a fake. I like to kind of fake blitz, but essentially the idea is you can just base align to kind of keep contained. The only thing is now, because they're in man defense, you don't have to press if you don't want to, but because they're in man defense, you just want to make sure that you use her over the middle, because your corners are going to have outside leverage in a formation like this. Just basically getting your outside linebackers as wide as possible. As you can see there, he eats up a block. If you notice that they're running stretch, you might not want to come out in this blitz play too much. Because the safety is going to be in the box like that, you're not going to be able to, be the kind of backup. You're not going to be able to scrape over and get there. As you can see, even if he had kept his feet, he might have been able to score there. So a better way to run this cover 1 is to not necessarily blitz per se. If you know they're going to run the ball, it doesn't hurt to just, spread your linebackers manually if you have to, and then if you know where the strong side of the formation is, just shift your line to that side. So here I'm playing a lot of maybe a kind of a coverage defense. So here I'm shifting the line to that side, to the strong side, and here we are getting broken tackled. So I mean, we should have had the tackle there, so that's kind of the risk you kind of run if you run kind of a speed package. I think here, this is actually just the base package, but it would be even worse if you had just yours. So you just need to make sure whoever you sub in at your nickel or dime spot should be players who can kind of tackle at the very least, or at least slow them down. So here, going back to zone defense, basically, you slide your line to the strong side, spread out all your linebackers so that they can't really go wide to the left side or wide to the right side. You force them to cut it back and you make a play. So If you spread your linebackers out very wide, you know that you have to be the one who enforces the run to the inside. If you don't do that, then you basically have to cover the outside on both sides. So that's the chess match of Madden. Essentially, you decide what you're going to give up. So here, I'm basically saying I'm going to cover the outside. We're able to get a few block sheds. So here with the linebacker sitting in that A gap, I know that I have to kind of be responsible for everything going outside. Here I'm spreading the line, I'm spreading all my linebackers. Or here actually I'm pinching, so now I know I have to go outside. I have to get wide. So I know I'm going to force him to cut back. So it just depends what the down of the distance is. If it's short yards, you don't want to give him the easy dive, so you just risk it that you can get outside before he gets outside. So here I'm spreading the line. It's probably, I'm thinking it's long yardage situation, maybe 1st and 10. I don't really care if he gets a few yards up the middle. Here I'm spreading the line. I know that, okay, if anything's going to happen, it's going to come up the middle. So I've spread my linebackers, spread my line, crashed them out even, put my D-end and DT in a spy. And yeah, I don't even have to really get wide that time. That's just like I'm there for extra support. So the best thing about the one thing you want to do, so if you play cover 2 invert and you baseline press, that's the one thing you have to worry about. So to take care of that is to just play cover 3. So even if you're baseline and you're not pressed, you still get beat. So the only way to deal with that is to play cover 3 on the outside. There you can actually baseline and press, and the corner will actually match that route. He won't get burnt as long as the speed is the same, more or less. So how you would stop it with a cover 3, it's the same idea. Basically, if you're playing any zone, the best way to stop this stretch play, any formation, is basically just baseline so your corners get wide. So this is cover 3, so you want to use the safety. That's probably your best chance at run defense in this formation. Basically, you're giving them nowhere to go, so you don't even, if you baseline press like that, you don't even have to really spread your linebackers really. So that would be something maybe you want to do on short yardage if they're going to run dive. If you know they're probably going to run dive and they might, switch it when you pinch. That's a good way to contain the outside run and really shore up your inside run defense. So here I'm going to another formation that's popular, single back wing flex close. So I've seen this stretch play as well. It's deadly to both sides. So the best way to deal with this is actually to just make sure that you drag that outside linebacker out there on the left side, because that's kind of the problem, that wide receiver is able to make that block. So you just make sure that he's wider, whoever that defender is on that side is wider than the wide receiver. So there we're able to stop it on the right side because we have our corner out there, and then as you can see, we're able to contain it pretty easily. Again, so the one thing about having a corner out there as your run contained is they can get shook. So maybe you want to put your 2 best tacklers outside. Like if you have strong safety who can really tackle, who's athletic enough to stay deep, that's probably a good spot to substitute them, and then have your corner substitute it at cornerback, at strong safety I should say. So here setting up a little bit of maximum coverage defense. I prefer to play max coverage defense in a man look, but if you are the kind who likes to mix it up with max coverage in zone, this is a setup. Put one of the DNs in a zone, have your linebacker in a spy, same result. And the great thing about this formation, that the weakness of this formation that the offense is running, is that because everyone's so close, I don't have to worry about covering too much ground in the middle, because they're all kind of in the middle. So if that makes sense, if they were wider, there would be more holes for them to find I don't know if I'm making sense there, but essentially I think it's easier when they're to defend them out of passing. When it's tight like this, it's just easier for me. So here, playing cover one man, just like that play from Deuce Close, this cover one. So you can even blitz out of this. So this is kind of the setup that Deuce Close had. Essentially, we've got all the main points in order to stop the run. We've got our outside linebacker wide. The setup is basically the same. Everyone's wide, so they're not going to be able to really go anywhere with this play. And the last thing I want to show you is just kind of how to defend RPOs using this 4-6. Using Deuce Close's setup, you do need to, depending on the formation. So here we have a, kind of a heavy tight end for twin tight end side. So against that, you just, with the 4-6, you want to make sure either you spread your line to stop stretch, or you at least shift your line to the strong side. So here we have two tight ends. That's kind of a heavy side, so we need to make sure that we have our defensive ends matched up against tight ends. And then, of course, the RPO is kind of dead by the nature of this cover one play, because you have man coverage, and man coverage is the best way to shut down RPOs, at least that bubble, because obviously the man when it's run, it doesn't matter. The defender in man coverage is always going to cover that bubble very well. So here, obviously, even if you don't blitz, if you decide to play cover, just regular cover one, kind of like a coverage defense, you're going to be able to shut down the run a lot easier. And then a quick tip: if you're playing press and you don't want to get burned, just play over the top coverage. The corners will not press. If you play underneath coverage, they'll press. So yeah, this is a pretty good defense. It's a great way to play aggressive. You can press, you can shut down RPO. 46 speed. I mean, you can run. This is literally an every down defense. Stop the run. Still have enough speed to keep up with players going deep. And also, I'm just going to show you again, if you want to play zone out of this, you do have to watch out. If you decide to play zone with RPO, you're going to get burned. If you're playing zone, just make sure you man up the closest defender on that slot receiver to kind of shut down the RPO options. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content. I will also be dropping another play in that gun bunch open offset from the Panthers playbook, so look out for that. So we're just going to keep trickling out the content as the Madden season continues. Thanks for watching.
Back with a loss of 3 on the play.